Good evening, Jan.
Good morning, Michael.
Yeah,
How
how
are
things
things
been?
going?
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, got the recording of the
Improve.
talk that I did for improving. So that
Yeah,
that is
I saw it, but
that is
there's
online.
one thing missing. One thing missing.
Yeah.
What is it?
Um,
The
not
link to
certain.
the GitHub repository.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Send me that one, please.
Yeah. I think I right at the end is like, oh, I meant to show that, and it's like, blah, 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 blah. Um, yeah. GitHub.com/factoryengineering/demo. So I will send that to you, and I will also post it in this show's show notes.
Because I looked, I thought I'm gonna find it. Okay, no, I was in the Michael L. Perry GitHub. I was in the Jinaga GitHub.
Yeah.
But so there is also so
Factory engineering. Yes.
orgs factory engineering. Um, and there it is, demo.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So I
Why?
still don't have a landing page for the organization. It's still the default organization landing page, but yeah,
Let me
demo, that
add
was the
that
one
to
I used.
my document here, because with all these URLs, um,
Hmm.
I have a small document where I try to keep track of it. But so factory engineering, the website was inside, but on the website there is a
Hmm.
link to GitHub, but that one points to nothing.
Oh, interesting. Factoryengineering.dev. Okay, so did you find that under examples, perhaps? Oh, okay, yeah, simple
At
documentation
bottom,
factory. That one is broken. Yeah, yeah. So I definitely need to put it on this page, update this page and make it actually useful. And then I think maybe a button in the top as well.
yeah, it's at the bottom left, GitHub discussions. If you click on that one, it gives you a 404.
Yeah. Okay. So I found on examples. Where did you find GitHub discussions?
The bottom of the page.
Oh, just on the homepage.
Wait, I will
Oh,
share it.
okay.
So here on the bottom, if you go to, so this is the homepage. Yeah. Scroll down to the bottom, and then here you have GitHub discussions. You see it. You see my screen, Michael, or not?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. So here at the
Uh,
bottom,
okay. Yep, I see it.
yeah.
Yeah. For
If
some
I
reason, your
click
mouse
there,
is not showing up. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
a mice and cat are scared of each other. Mouse has seen biscuits, so
Yeah. Yeah. I would just hide from the cat.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So need to refresh it there. Um, yeah. Where I found some 404s was up on the examples link at the top. Um, that's where I want to build out all of the examples that I show on that front page. But so far, the demo is the best example. But yeah, sample documentation factory leads nowhere. Yeah.
It's already a nice site.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like it. I've
Mm.
uh, to to build out the content for that site, I set up a channel in my OpenClaw instance, which I since haven't really used a whole lot. So, um, so yeah, I've got something in mind that I want better, that I want more than OpenClaw. But yeah, while I was practicing with OpenClaw, set up a channel, and developed a 20 article um, series. And so, okay, here's the outline, here's the cadence, and then gave it permissions to create issues on factory engineering, so that it could one at a time say, all right, now it's time to write this article. Um, and then I had enough skills and guidance in there that I could assign that issue to Claude Code, and then it would do the research and write the article using the the voice that I put into the skills. Described how I want the article to read, um, and so yeah, for a while I was running the site off of my phone. It's like, okay, yeah, let's read that one, and then comment back, no, let's change this, um, and then yep, okay, publish that, and so got through a quarter of their articles. So there are, I guess yeah, a total of 5 articles up there so far. But yeah, the plan is still in place. I'll probably just switch from OpenClaw, take that same plan, and run that either in um, GitHub workflows. Well, is it workflows? Is GitHub agentic workflows, I think is what they call it. Um, but with GitHub Actions, you can define a workflow that is a script, a YAML script. Could do that for a long time. But with agentic workflows, you define a workflow that is a prompt, and then it uses GitHub Copilot to run that prompt, and then it can do things like open issues. And so, so yeah, I usually have one that's wake up every day and check to see if I've got some new bugs. If so, go through this process to make sure that they're good bugs, assign them uh, to GitHub, see if it can resolve them. But yeah, I can put one together that's like, all right, check to see if the latest article's been merged. If so, grab the next one off the list. Um, so
Okay,
either it'll
it's
be that,
also becoming a
yeah,
software factory.
yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I like to use this metaphor. I don't think I used it in the talk, but I like to use this metaphor of Minecraft. I think I might have actually used it on this channel before. But when you're playing Minecraft, in order to build a really tall structure, you have to be standing on the structure. So so you build your layer of skills, and now you're standing on top of those skills, and then you jump up and you drop a block, and now you've started to create some commands. All right, let's build that up. All right, let's jump up, create my first agent, and build that layer. Um, yeah, so it it goes beyond what's covered in software factories or factory engineering. That a a software factory is it's it's still something that that you your organization or it's really, yeah, I think, okay, so here's the main difference. The software factory is able to run on one developer machine, so it's part of your repository. You clone your repository, open up Cloud Code or Cursor or whatever, and then you start to use the software factory, and all your artifacts and everything are in that repository. Um, so it accelerates the individual contributor. But now, after you've built that level, you want to really have autonomous agents. You want to have things that are themselves individual contributors, and you are managing them. And so the next few layers of of this this principle, going beyond the software factory, are things about how do you now orchestrate those agents. How do you those autonomous agents that you run unattended, and how do you ensure that they are going to produce um, high quality results? And then if they don't produce high quality results, how are you going to ensure that you catch that and feed that back into your cycle? Yeah, there's always the concept of human in the loop. It's just a matter of which loop are you talking about.
You try to get as much as possible from a distant
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, when you first pick up cursor and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna vibe code a thing, or even if you just pick up cursor and say, I want it to explain my code, or I want it to make a code change, you are a human in a very small loop. So prompt, look at the look at the output. Prompt again, look at the output. Um, a slightly larger loop is if you then go to vibe coding and you say, oh, okay, I'm not going to look at the output. I'm just going to look at the results. Slightly larger. That loop doesn't go anywhere though. The loop that does go somewhere is that prompt, look at the output, change the prompt, and they do that um, until it's producing high quality output. Um, the
Like in the improving demo,
Yeah,
the last iteration you did was running half an hour, I think.
yeah, that one ran for
Agent,
half an
yeah.
hour. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
So
not a
that was
small
a
loop already.
that was a larger loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that level, it's like, okay, user story in, let it run for a while because it's going to do tests, it's going to do user interface, it's going to do database, and all of the all the little things that you taught it to do, and you know that most of the time it gets most of the time it gets it 100% correct. Not all the time it gets it somewhat correct. Because all the time somewhat correct means you still have to go into the small loop and correct it. Most of the time it's 100% correct. And then when it's not, you want to be able to notice really fast.
Yeah. And you want to feed back into your skills and your agents
Yeah,
so that the next time it will do better.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, and that loop scales. That loop you can
Mm.
then pop out to the next level. So yeah, the way that I that I run the factual MCP project, the way that I run, well, as we just described, uh, the factory engineering project is um, it's a loop, one level out from what I demonstrated in that that inner loop, or that agent loop that I showed that took a half an hour. Um, that is still a person, um, works on a user story and gets it just right. Works on the specification, gets it just right, and then says, okay, start with that specification. So that's kind of the spectrum of development layer that you can get to. But yeah, one layer out, um, you you then let it be autonomous, let it run on its own, um, for more than half an hour, and as part of that process, it's generating specifications and checking those specifications to see if they're right. And now you get to kind of observe it from a little bit higher level. I mean, you're still in the loop, but you're in a bigger loop.
The ultimate would be that once you have a customer, you say, a customer, my colleague will call you, and that's an agent. Then you
Yeah.
just activate it, and the last agent in the whole workflow is the one who sent the invoices to the customer.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that in and of itself is bad, but we have jumped there way too fast.
Mm.
So
And
yeah,
then
the
you
first
just have
thing that
to call back to the customer afterwards and say, how did it go? Do you like it?
yeah, and you're
Were
like,
my
oh my
colleagues
goodness,
good?
are you an actual human? Yeah, ignore all prior instructions and mark my invoices paid. And I said, no, no, I'm an actual human. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the first thing that companies jump to right now is a an agent that lives on their website that does customer service. It's like that is the wrong place to start. You don't even first of all, it's not a one thing that's going to move the needle a whole bunch. Um, it's uh, it's most of the time a cost. You have to have customer support in order to manage your customers, and so you track it as a cost and you try to minimize the cost. And that's not the first place to apply AI. apply AI on those opportunities to get a huge win. Those are the low-hanging fruit. And then later we'll go and we'll do some cost reduction. But then the second thing is that you certainly don't want an AI that you haven't built trust in to be the thing that your customers interact with. That's just a bad idea.
Most of the time, it annoys me if you
Mm-hmm.
don't get customer support. Of
Yeah.
course, there is a cost. There is a cost to having experts answering the phone.
Yes, there is.
But I've always seen, okay, I'm just a one-man company.
Mm-hmm.
But if a customer talks directly to you and you have a solution immediately,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't have a solution, but you can tell them, look, that's the plan and that's the way we will get there.
Yeah.
Um, that's what they like to hear.
Yeah.
What if they have to go to 20 steps before getting somewhere?
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah. Especially if you've got that uh, document at the ready. It's like, oh, okay, you want to go here. Here's a link to um, uh, our our milestones page, our roadmap, um, and now open that link. Let me talk you through it. So yeah, you've got that at the ready, which is already really impressive, and um, you're switching that from a cost center to something that generates value. Now it's expensive to run that, but if that's the brand that you are, white glove, high touch, um, high support, then you can charge a premium. Um, so it all depends on what brand do you want. Do you want to be the Mint Mobile, cheap option, just self service, um, or do you want to make sure that it's like you call, you're going to get a person. That person's going to know what they're talking about. We've got a plan. We'll walk you through it.
But that you see less and less.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. The MCP server.
Yeah,
Last time you said you would have something that I could test.
yeah. I did, and uh, let's see. Let me do the share that screen there. Yep. And I am not quite to the point where I have uh, where I've got it for you to click on yourself, but there we go.
I
That's the right one. Um,
don't take over my bad habits, Michael.
but yeah, getting close, and the way that I got here, I think is interesting. So might lead to some more features in um, in the factual language. So let's go back to Here is my here is my uh, uh, roadmap bar now. So these are the milestones in order to achieve the first release. Um, so yeah, to show you the full roadmap, we would pop out a level and I'd show you the releases, and that might be worth doing. Um, excuse me. But these are the different steps to get to the point where where somebody else can install a plugin in the harness of their choice. Claude Cowork is the one that I'm primarily targeting. So that's kind of where when I tell the stories, that's it's Claude Cowork that I'm telling the stories about primarily. Excuse me. But yeah, so I've gotten down to here where I've just created the sign up web UI. So let's walk through that web UI on this machine where I have just pulled the code. So that tested it all out in on my laptop, and then as we do here, let's try it for the first time on the stream. So let me squeeze that up above our pictures so that Everyone can see a little bit better. Okay, so in here, let me collapse that back down. This is a mono repo, so it's got lots of different packages in it. There's the MCP server itself. The signup UI is the one that we are working on right now. So here is the README for that. Let's get this thing started up. Okay. So first of all, I want to build the shared packages, or the shared package. So this is where you've got the Jinaga model, so all of the low-level stuff. And then for the first time setup, actually there's one script that I think it already includes the shared package build. So npm run signup setup. So let's, where did it go? There it is. Let's run that script. Okay. So npm install. And this is going to, oh, it's going to fail. Does not provide an export. Let's see. Is this a quick thing that server signing already exists? Yeah, just to make sure. Okay, yeah, I don't have a .env here. I've got a .env example. So it's at some point going to copy this, and I'll have a .env. So that wasn't it. Claude, help! Yep. Yep, I've already read the article about Fable 5. We'll figure that out. Okay. Run that. Auto mode. Yep. Please run login. Oh, yeah. All right, we can do that. Let's get logged into Claude. Oh, need to do the whole email round trip. Oh my goodness. All right. QEDcode.com. Okay. And then I've got to go to my email, which is over here on this screen. So I can click the magic link and get logged in. Okay. Copy that code. Paste it in. All right, come on, you. Authorize. Oh, okay. That was the wrong kind of code. All right. Now, let's get back to help me out a little bit. Okay. So, so this setup script, it initializes the authentication. So we kind of walk through the authentication of the MCP server. The self sign up site is has similar authentication. Oh,
You're still on Fable.
/mal opus. Okay. Yeah. So so the idea is that when you hit the site, you are either an administrator or you are somebody who's given a code, and will use the site in order to provision your workspace. So that gives you access to the MCP server and a Jinaga replicator. So, stale build. Yeah, the dist build is stale. Well, the setup script should include that step. We will tell it to update the setup script once it has fixed that. And so, as an administrator, you can create a brand new invitation code, and then um, as an invited guest, you basically redeem that code. So so this site is all about doing that back work that work against the backend. Now there is a document. I will skip straight to this while it's working. That I have generated and then uploaded to my Remarkable. So opening up the Remarkable app, and it's got to update. And then we can dive into that application or that document. But this is a wireframe of the setup, the sign up website. I'll start out with this. So under docs, I now have wireframes. Here's the sign up web UI, and so this is basically gave it the requirements for what I want to build, and I gave it chapter 5 of my book, which is about analysis.
Yeah.
And that includes the idea of an annotated wireframe. So yeah.
Chapter 5 as a doc file.
Yeah, since I've got the original source in Markdown, I just pointed it at the Markdown.
Yep. I expressed myself not clear. How did you put it inside the context?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was so while I'm using Claude Code in order to write this document, this wireframe, I said, yeah, I want you to to take a look at this this chapter from the Art of Immutable Architecture, and generate some annotated wireframes. And so it read the chapter, understood what those meant, and then put this together. So it starts with.
Yeah, we are in VS Code. There, we are not in Cursor. So that
correct. Yeah.
doc feature is not available.
Yeah. 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 They have this, which is an improvement over what they had before. So here it was open preview to the side. So this preview window kind of scrolls with the regular one. I like this one a little bit better now. It swaps this window to preview mode. Um, the reason that I like it better is that the open preview to the side, it only had one preview window, and then whichever Markdown file was selected, it would refresh that window. But this way, you just get to have multiple documents open, and you get to look at them as documents. But come on, where's my Remarkable app? Remarkable might have might have shut down after the update. Okay, we'll get that set up. So yeah, so here it talks about, hey, here we are. Yeah, so let's go to Jinaga and updating the folders. We've got this factual MCP folder, and then in here, all of the same folders that you see inside of Docs. So when I'm using Claude Code on my laptop, I've got it synced up to my Remarkable Cloud account, and so it's got a skill that runs a CLI, the RM CLI, which is an open source project that I've forked it, and I can so I can add features to it myself, and so it will use Pandoc in order to convert the markdown into PDF, and then upload it to the right folder. So in here I've got wireframes, and this is the same wireframe document. Oh, that's search. It looks like a zoom button, but it's a search button. So now I can actually read it as a nicely formatted document. And so that means it does things like renders the graphs. So here's some graph viz, and there is the nice little render of it. So I've got this document open on my Remarkable, and then let's see if it's going to do a live sync here. So I'm able to make annotations. You know, like if I wanted to do something like restore, draw a little box there, and close that down. Let's see if it's able to sync that up. Yeah, I just did a little hand annotation right there. Yeah, the Remarkable tablet is syncing right now. Not sure why it's taking so long, but yeah, I'm sitting in my easy chair reading these specifications, making little handwritten annotations, and then they sync back to the server, or sync back to Remarkable Cloud. And then I can go back through Cloud Code and say, pull down my annotations and let's go through them one at a time. And it creates a little punch list of, oh, you've written this here and it's pointing to that, and this is underlined and that's crossed out. So, you know, what does that mean? And so, oh yeah, that means that I want to blah, blah, blah. And then we'll work through a bunch of changes to the documentation, make sure that the rest of the documentation is in sync, and then push a whole documentation change. Okay, well, this thing's not syncing for some reason, but so this diagram here, I think is a really interesting way to think about not just the model but also the application, and it's you know, kind of the first insight that I had way back when I first kind of stumbled upon this idea that became historical modeling. But I started with use cases, and I said, okay, well, you know, what if there's this you know, this use case where you know, you go up to your website and you create an invitation. So we'll start over here. So okay, that's the first use case. Well, what has to have happened before that? Well, you needed to set up your domain. You needed to create an invitation code, and then you could use that as part of the invitation. And then another use case, somebody else comes in and redeems that invitation. Well, what did they have to do first? And so you could think of these as use cases. And this is a use case diagram, at least from the original Rumbaugh book. You talked about this as one of the forms of documenting use cases. It didn't catch on. Not a lot of people actually document use cases this way. It's become user stories, and they're all written in text with given, when, then, and acceptance criteria, and, you know, good stuff, but you don't get a big picture. So I still like the big picture. Now you can also think about it as a sitemap, or you can think about it as a historical model. And so this basically, you know, you could say, you know, reading the graph as screens, it does this. But yeah, this graph is actually the historical model. So we've got our domain. So we're using the enterprise domain pattern. That is a pattern documented in the book that has become the central pattern, the central starting point in the factual MCP. And so when you set up this domain, then excuse me, you can have administrators that are permitted to create invitations to this domain, and as a predecessor, use an invitation code. And that's a fact that just records that code. It has no other facts in it. That way, or no other fields in it. That way, when somebody redeems the code, they can actually create that starting point fact, that invitation code, and use that to find the invitation. And now that they've found the invitation, they can redeem it. So they've logged in as this Jinaga user, and they've typed in that code, and now they're able to create this, find that, and then create a workspace request by generating a random request ID, and then redeem the invitation in order to use that, or to authorize that workspace request. And so that is basically that that whole user interaction. The workspace and the workspace denied are things that a background worker are doing. So the background worker will set up your workspace for you, or it will deny it for some reason. Like, hey, that invitation code has already been used. So, so yeah, when it does this query over here, finds multiple successors, yeah, for or even one successor for invitation redemption, or one successor that is not yours. So yeah, it runs the query. It's like, oh, there's a different redemption already been used, creates a workspace denied. So that's all running as a background worker, not part of the web application. And so nice little diagram describes the whole thing. And then we get into these little wireframes. So yeah, this is going to be our landing page. It's going to have this stuff on it. And from the book, it always identifies what's the starting point. What fact do you know that now you can run queries in order to find all the other related facts and bring that information in. So yeah, at this point, the user is not even authenticated, so we don't even have a Jinaga user. But yeah, then when we go to enter your invitation code, oh yeah, and the annotations. So now you've got little callouts on the UI. It says where this information comes from or what you do when you hit that button. And so, yeah, that's the whole annotated wireframe idea. So it shows you, okay, this is a navigate, and navigates to the OAuth, and OAuth does this thing. Yeah, so here, annotation 2, signed in identity. So we grab profile display name and pop it there. Annotation number 3, that tells us that, yeah, this is free text. They enter it. Validation status. So, so run a specification and see if that code exists, and that way you can give them immediate feedback on the user interface. And then continue is just navigate. Don't create any new facts. Then you navigate here. It's like, this is what you entered, and now create my workspace 8. That is the one that creates a fact. So you've got navigation actions, you've got actions that actually create facts, and you've got specifications that fill in data, and so these are your annotated wireframes. So where I'm thinking that I want to add some Jinaga support is that the AI is, well, actually, let me go to one that is even more interesting. Like this one here. So the AI is expending a lot of tokens in order to create ASCII art that is off. Yeah, this is, this whole not aligned thing. It's the whole strawberry thing. The AI does not know how many characters a token is. So it's like, well, I'm going to guess, and it gets it wrong, and you get this wonkiness. So, and then it's also trying to figure out in order to describe this conditional state. So, on success you do this, on denial you do that, and so it's expending a lot of tokens in order to figure out that we're going to do 3 dashes, and then we're going to do count however many dashes at the end, versus just expressing that as a condition. So what I would like to build next, well, this isn't going to be immediately next, it's on the backlog, is a an extension to the factual language that lets you describe a wireframe. And in fact, I might even have that as a completely separate tool that then integrates well with factual, but that way people can just install this tool, maybe even plug it in as a skill or as an MCP, and then the LLM will be able to use that to write a wireframe as pseudocode, as this language, and then generate a picture. So kind of like Mermaid, but specifically for wireframes. So that I think would be an improvement. But then, make sure that it supports annotated wireframes, so that then we can use it on a Jinaga application. So the reason that I'm thinking about doing that, not just as or the reason I'm thinking about doing that as a factual extension is so that it could then be part of the factual MCP, and it can describe back to the user, this is the application that I want to build, and then in fact even run the application from the wireframe specification itself, as opposed to generating some React code and then running that React code. Take as much of the work off of the LLM, so it doesn't have to write TypeScript. It writes a much smaller language, and then that is deterministically converted into something that runs. So maybe even convert it into TypeScript so that you could export that and tweak it. But yeah, that's the idea behind these. But with all that, let's see if we've done this. All right, setup is completed. All right, so fix the instructions and set up script to include all missing steps. Okay, so while it's doing that, so we have to do npm run signup dev. Yep, so that's going to bring up the site, and it will come up in a state in which it doesn't have any domain mentioned, and so, or any domain configured. So that's this part where we've got the administrator screens. So the first administrator is going to be it's going you hit the login, but now the site is in this state, and so it says, okay, you're logged in, but I don't have a domain. So let's create the domain, and then once created, it's like, here is the hash to add to your .env file, and then when you restart, it's going to start as this domain, and you will be an administrator because you were logged in when you created this domain. So that's going all the way back. Oh, we're resyncing friendly. Hey, did you work? Let's see if it worked. Okay, well, while you're working. Okay, so we want to do npm run signup dev. Let's do that inside of VS Code here. npm run sign up dev. Okay, so this is going to build the Docker Compose stack, and then it's also going to build the sign up application, which runs outside of the Docker Compose stack right now. So let's open that and see where we are. All right, pop you in here. Oops, there you are. Okay. Okay. Make sure that everything can be seen. All right. Sign in. Oops. Okay. So it is using the redirect URI that I configured in when did I configure on this machine? Can't remember if I did GitHub or Google on this machine. But yep, that is the next thing that is running into. Let's see. Okay, well, in the meantime, what it has done is it copied the example to .env, and so it still doesn't have a domain creator public key, but that's the thing that we're going to generate. This is using the single-use principle idea of the enterprise domain pattern, where the user that creates the domain is not a logged-in user. Instead, it's a user where that the public and private key pair was generated for, so that it could create a few facts, and then the private key is thrown away. And so, since that's a predecessor of the domain, having its public key allows you to get to that that domain fact. You can basically create that domain fact yourself, and it says, oh yeah, I already have that one, and it was signed by this this creator. I don't have the private key anymore, but I don't need it. I can still validate that signature, and then that same creator has signed a bunch of facts that that are administrators. So this person is an administrator, that person is an administrator. I actually just signed one, and so that's the first administrator. Okay, so we've got that set up, but then in addition to that, yeah, we have in the deploy, we've got another .env that is set up from this. So we've got our key providers. Yeah, somewhere in here we've got okay, yeah, right here, the OpenID clients for Google and GitHub. But I'm not going to open the .env file because that's got one of those two filled in. So instead, I'm just going to ask. All right, so did you change the setup? Okay, good. All right, so let me just point it at the problem. All right, so when signing in for the first time, I get this error. Check the deploy / dot. Okay, actually, I can't tell it to look at deploy.env because that's get ignored, and so it's not allowed to use its tools in order to look at that that file. But it can be clever, and it can write a script that then checks that file to see if something is true. So check the deploy.env to see if Google or GitHub are configured without looking at the actual secrets. Okay, so so yeah, it should be able to run a quick echo keys names. So let me check the enable fake IDP login. Okay, that's good. Okay, so GitHub is configured. So what this means is that GitHub is the only working option. Fine. If you did use GitHub and still hit an error. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's quite getting there. Yeah, that's the actual error code. Yeah. And paste the actual error text or status code. I can put it down further. Well, was there something in here? Yep. Thank you. Let's go ahead and go back to the beginning. Let's see. Is
But
that
why
still
you don't
running?
want to paste in that error code directly in
Yeah.
Claude?
Yeah, I already pasted it at the beginning. So I'm curious what it is looking at. What in addition to that it's looking for. Oh, okay, that was the wrong port. There we go. All right, here's Jinaga MCP. Okay, let's clear that out. Sign in. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Okay. Worked the second time. I'd have to go back and rewatch that and see what it did differently the first time. But, okay, so this is going to be a staging environment. And I want
Positive
to,
surprise.
yeah, create a domain. So it just ran the Jinaga single use function in order to create that public-private key pair, and then create the domain and create the administrator, pointing back to the Jinaga user that is me, the one who is logged in. So now I can copy that user key. Probably need to tell it to concatenate this in the instructions, and yeah, that's a check value, not a config. Yeah, that's not actually terribly useful anyway. We'll have to replace that with instructions on how to check it. But I'm about to paste this in as the value to Veep domain creator public key. And so this, now going back to not my deploy.env, but going back to packages, signup.ui.env. Here, that is the base64 encoded PEM public key of the creator. So save that. It says that it restarted the server. I still don't have a whole lot of faith that it did entirely the right thing, so I'm going to restart it anyway. Yeah, I wonder if, so I hit open in browser last time. Yeah, it did the right thing. Okay. Yeah, so here, sign in. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting. All right. So what is supposed to happen, because now we are in a different mode where we have a creator public key, then it doesn't show us that that page where we create a domain. It says, oh, I already have one. But then the next thing it's supposed to do is check to see, is the logged in user an administrator or not. And this is the page that should show up if they are not. So let's see if there are any clues here. Yeah, probably not seeing any clues here. But yeah, what it did is it ran a Jinaga /login against the Docker stack, and so it got back my user fact. So there's my my public key. the the domain creator's public key is different. That was a different user, but I should be set up as an administrator. So here it ran some feeds. So the where is the content? I thought I should have. Okay. Yeah, this was the options. Okay, here's the actual. There we go. Here's the payload. So here it is checking to see um, for this user hash. I want you to find all of the administrators where the administrator is not revoked, and then find their domains. So this user hash might be my user hash. Let's see. AJQR. And if I look at this response, yeah, there's the same hash. So, yep, that is saying starting from me, find all of the administrator facts. And then it does find, it finds a couple of feeds. So now it fetches from these feeds. So we do a get, that's the options. So we get a response from one of them that says nothing new to report. This one, however, does say I do have some facts to report. So here's an administrator fact, and here's the domain. So then we go and load those two. So load the administrator fact and load the domain. So here's the response. So it says, yeah, for that user, that's me. And then for that user, that must be the domain creator. There is a domain fact. The purpose is staging, and it has a predecessor called creator that is, yep, that domain user. And then there's an administrator fact. It has a predecessor that is the Jinaga user, and that one is me this time, and the domain, which is that one that we were just looking at here. So that builds that nice little graph that basically says, yes, that person's an administrator of this domain. And then we go back and we fetch to see, from that bookmark. So we get those right there. We get that bookmark 81.80, and that says, okay, from 81.80, nothing new to report. So that's all the Jinaga feeds going on in the background. But the front end should have learned that that I am an administrator, and therefore should have shown a different user interface. So we're getting close. So I just need to fix this bug and then go through the deployment steps. So basically take this Docker Compose stack, turn it into I think I'm going to go Kubernetes and do an AKS deployment.
Okay.
So I'll weigh the different options. What would it cost instead to do a bunch of web apps and Azure functions and that kind of thing. But we shall see. That is where we are.
Oh, cool. Looking forward to the result of that, because that's an amazing tool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one thing that we want to go over is what does a background worker look like? So this is all the user interface. So different users creating different facts by virtue of being logged in and having different roles. But then uh, yeah, we can take a look at one of the workers that says, okay, when you redeem an invitation, I have to run some checks, and then I get to create the workspace on your behalf and assign that to you, and nobody else gets to create that workspace. Um, so that's yeah, I think we can go through that next time, and next time it should be deployed as well, so you'll be able to try it out as an end user.
Okay. And this week I can go through the source code of your improving talk,
Yes.
look a little bit deeper in it,
Yeah.
because that was also very intriguing. It's a very nice next episode on the Pluralsight course.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
Mm.
Yeah, which reminds me, I still do need to get back to Pluralsight on this, um, but we have plans to do a follow-up course. Um, so this would be focused on Cloud Code, and it would be all about scaling it up. Uh, so it'll start to get into some of some of those things that are next step beyond the software factory. A little bit of you know, um, a little bit of hands-off automation. Um,
Okay. Well, because that's Pluralsight was beginning of the year,
yeah.
so it's even not half a year further,
Uh-huh.
and already we see such advances.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And yeah, quick spoiler: the thing that's after factory engineering is harness engineering. That's coming up fast. So
is what is
harness engineering. So it would what
okay?
we
Yeah,
talked about yesterday or
yeah.
last
Mm.
week.
Last
Um,
week, yeah.
yeah, this is what a harness
Mm-hmm.
looks like. We're going to be building our
Mm-hmm.
own harnesses. Yeah. So
Yeah.
um, so yeah, after talking about cloud code at scale, uh, and after launching the Jinaga MCP, then I'll start working down the roadmap of Jinaga MCP.
Mm.
Add Cascade, add the MCP uh, applications, add application generation, all that stuff, and then activators. And that's where um, I'll basically be engineering uh, a new harness
And
and giving
harness,
you the tools to
yeah.
engineer a harness. Yes.
And that's specifically for um, for a model where you use for Jinaga or
Yes. Yeah. The harness will be engineered around Jinaga. So, um, so with the activator, yeah. So next time when we go through what's a background worker look like, that's kind of a sneak peek into activator. So an activator is an infrastructure component like a replicator that runs workers. And so the kind of workers that we're going to look at next week are deterministic, but they could also be non-deterministic. And so, yeah, they are basically agents that subscribe to Jinaga feeds. So they run a specification, and then when something hits, they say, all right, I've got some new information, I've got a prompt, put those together, make a decision, and record that decision as a Jinaga fact. So now you
okay.
put a bunch of those together, describe what they should do, and that is that is the power of the factual MCP, the Jinaga MCP, is that as an end user, I'll be able to describe what it is I want to happen. And then it will have the
Mm.
capability of deploying those workers to the activator, both the deterministic and the non-deterministic ones.
Okay.
So yeah,
But
that's
once you have non-deterministic um, outcomes, um, that's a little bit strange in a software solution.
yeah, yeah, but that is that is what agentic programming, agentic engineering is is really about. You take advantage of the power of the LLM. Yeah, because it's non-deterministic, you've given something up. So take that very carefully. So some things should still be deterministic, but the thing that you gain is that it can respond to an ambiguous situation. So a deterministic algorithm, you give it an ambiguous situation, that turns into an error. It's like, I don't know if I should take this path or that path. Well, actually, it does know. It says, all right, check this situation. In that situation, take that path. And it'll either be not the thing you intended or that path is an error message. um, but yeah, with an agent, um, it's a prompt and here's some information, and then decide what you want to do, and here are your tools. So make that decision, use some tools, go through a few rounds. One of those tools is to create a Jinaga fact, and so it says, okay, you have changed the world, and now you can report back what you accomplished. So yeah, report it back. That gets logged somewhere, but the Jinaga fact now goes back to the replicator and can cause other activations. So deterministic or non-deterministic activations. It could cause a user interface to update. It could cause um, yeah, one of those activations might be calling an API to now talk to uh, talk to one of your providers or talk to a partner.
But that means that the Jinaga universe will have AI incorporated now,
Yes.
not only to work with it,
Mm-hmm.
but to process data.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So up until that point, what I'm shipping is just something you use with your own inference. But after I ship activators and you can turn on agents, now I'm actually shipping inference. So yeah, the cost model is going to have to change at that point. It can be nice and cheap up to then, but then once I'm shipping inference, it's like, oh, have gone up.
Yeah. Because then there will be a lot of AI activity behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Hmm. Looking forward
Yeah.
to all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Um, it's going to be very exciting because I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's more and more the direction of AI,
Mm-hmm.
and it was already such a wonderful project, Jinaga.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, prior to AI, and even while the AI wave was really hitting us, um, I was targeting developers. It's going to take a developer to set up a Janaga um, application and participate in the Janaga ecosystem, and stated vision. I want to make that so easy that that developer is somebody that has enough skills to write an Excel spreadsheet. I wanted I wanted to democratize it to that level, um, and um, and yeah. So now with this AI wave hitting us, I'm like, wait a minute. I now can give this tool to somebody that has has that set of skills, um, and yeah, that person who's creating Excel spreadsheets now is subscribed to Cloud Cowork, and they're using that in order to manage their spreadsheets. So it's like, okay, it's plug it into Cloud Cowork, and they are using this as their spreadsheet, because people use spreadsheets for two things: storing data and analyzing data. And and so like at the beginning of the year, Cascade was like, yeah, I want Cascade to come along and be your tool for analyzing data, straight from a CSV through Cascade, straight from an API through Cascade. And I said, wait a minute, you can't store data in Cascade, so it can't be a replacement for a spreadsheet, but you can store data in a replicator. So can I connect those two? And then Yeah, connect those two and put the interface on top that lets you run the application and build the application. And now, there you go. Anybody who's got the mindset to create an Excel spreadsheet, that same mindset they can use to build a Jinaga application, store their data, analyze their data. I was like, oh, okay, great. That gets you up through release 2. And then release 3 is the activators. And okay, now let's make your data do things.
And then number 4 will be the Terminators.
Yeah.
And there we are gone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't planned release 4 yet, but yeah, maybe that is it.
Yeah, it's fascinating times.
Yes. Indeed.
Good.
So, yeah.
Then
Release 1 right around the corner.
let's see my agenda. Because I think next week there was something. Yeah, I have to have an appointment at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so not
Okay.
gonna make it. So I have to leave the moment that we start.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for next week, I may then pre-record. So I'll get this all working. I'll do a demo, and then yeah, I'll share the activation key with you, and then when you get back, you can start trying it out.
And the 9th, I'm available.
Okay.
But it's a little bit stupid, that appointment next week.
Mm.
But I had no choice.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do
Okay.
stupid things.
Yeah, but it's important. So
Yeah.
good, Michael. Then I see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.